Hello everyone, this is Jared from Jrod Production Studios, and welcome back to episode 2 of Ask Jrod, the series where I go ahead and answer some of the questions you have just to get to know me better. It's been a long time since I've done this. It's been almost a month since episode 2, and I said I wanted to do it every week. So hopefully I get back on track. Life just kind of got in the way, and I've been gone a lot even though it's the summer. So if you'd like to be featured in next week's Q&A, go ahead and drop a comment below for a chance for me to answer that in the next video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start by going ahead and taking a look at some questions. And if you have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Okay, the first question for the week comes from That Funky Monkey, who asks, what are the worst 3 battle packs ever made? Now, in my opinion, this is kind of a tough question to answer because it's very subjective, but I would say the number one to me is the First Order Battle Pack from like 2015, 2016, where you only got one of each figure. Absolute waste to me. That does nothing for army building. You get one Stormtrooper you actually want, 1 or 2 figures you actually want. One of the other ones I would say would probably be the Tatooine Battle Pack. That was just a big disappointment to me. I don't really want an army of Jawas and Tusken Raiders and such. And maybe a surprising one for me at number 3 would be the Bounty Hunter Battle Pack. I know there's some good figures in there, but I'd much rather have seen them in like a $30 set and not a battle pack. It just kind of took up an unnecessary spot. So those would be my least favorite 3 or worst 3 in just my honest opinion. White Elephant asks, are you bilingual? Yo puedo hablar en español un poco porque yo tuve la clase de español en la escuela secundaria para 3 años. Yo pienso. I can speak a little bit in Spanish just because I had like 3 years of Spanish in high school, so I got pretty close to bilingual, even though I'm sort of losing it now. I worked at a grocery store for a while, and I was even able to communicate with some of the Hispanic customers, so, you know, I'm not bilingual in Spanish, but I could get a conversation out in Spanish if I absolutely had. And the next question comes from Commander Cody, Lego Commander Cody, excuse me, which is pretty fitting as seeing his question, because he asks, who is your favorite clone commander? He says Commander Cody, and he goes on to talk about some of the figures he had a chance to add to his collection and what his collection entails. So thank you for your question. My favorite clone commander is this bad boy right here. We got Commander Wolf in the Phase 1 variant. I just like the variant. I like Wolf. He's my favorite clone commander. Probably the Phase 1. I like his armor just because that's nostalgic to me. So that's my favorite clone commander. And then if you want to consider Rex a commander, he's up there too as well. And Robotic Serpent asks, top 3 Clone Wars seasons. If I had to rank them for you, I would say 4, 6, and then 7. I would say 4 just because of the Umbara arc and just some other really cool arcs in there. 6 because it was the most emotional for me with 5s and such. And then 7 just because I found it hard to beat the way the series was wrapped up, the Siege of Mandalore. That was a really great season, and it greatly surprised me how well it ended. Ethan Rose asks, do you think that LEGO will make a 332nd battle pack? And the short answer is, I don't know, but I can assume that LEGO will be making a battle pack within the next couple years, and I would assume that it would only make sense that they recycle what clone troopers they already had if it was going to be a clone battle pack. I mean, they come out with battle packs every January, right? So it's been a while since we had a clone battle pack. It would make sense they would recycle some of the clone troopers we had if it's probably maybe not a 501st, but at least the mold and maybe the printing similar to it, like the 332nd. Some of the less common figures like that. So yeah, I would assume to see the 332nd, at least another set, if not a battle pack, but I will be expecting at least a clone battle pack within the next couple years here. Atlee Rollins asks, question, have you ever been scammed with fake Lego before? And this goes along with the question, let me see if I can find it here. Okay, the question from LL Combo is the same. Have you ever received a fake Lego set before? Short answer is only intentionally. I have off-brand Lego sets that are now destroyed and in their own separate bin, and unfortunately when I was little some of them got mixed in with my actual Lego bins. But long story short, I have never bought a set and then received something that was fake. Now the closest thing to it though was I bought what claimed to be a genuine 332nd or 442nd, excuse me, Siege Battalion Trooper. Turned out to be a magnet. That's the worst that's ever happened to me. That's and this one isn't even a magnet. This is I think this one is the genuine figure because the legs come apart. But worst that's ever happened to me. I just got a minifigure that wasn't a real like pure minifigures. So no, I've never been scammed before in terms of Lego. I've had things that I purchased that I never received, but I've never just outright gotten a fake Lego set without, again, intentionally knowing it was fake and buying a fake cheap knockoff to have for whatever reason when I was little. Jolie YouTube asks, am I planning on doing more live streams in the future? Short answer is yes. I had one last week, for actually I think it was this week. The most recent upload I've done was a live stream, and that was about an hour long, and I saw you there, Jolie, so thanks for the question, and yes, I will be doing more in the future. I found out they're fairly simple, they're fairly easy, and they're just fun to do. TGB asks, what minifigures would I like to see in the Republic Gunship? You know, it's hard to say because the UCS sets don't really necessarily get a ton of figures in them. So I would say like a Phase 2 Cody is the obvious, or a Phase 2 Rex with maybe, you know, like an Anakin or Obi-Wan thrown in there. It's just really hard to say. If I were to guess, I would say it's probably just going to be like a clone pilot, honestly. That's probably the only minifigure they'll give you, just part of the display stand or whatever. So that's my honest opinion. I'm not really expecting too much in terms of minifigures there. Magic Bricks asks, would I like to see Wookie sets, or do I want Wookie sets? Now, I had a strange obsession with set number 7261. As you can tell, I even know the set number. The Wookie Catamaran from 2005 when I was little, because it was new when I was little, and I'd always liked the thing. I was really obsessed with the idea of the clones in there, and the Jedi in there, and the Wookiees. I thought it was the perfect set when I was little. So, now thinking of that, I should probably go back and see if that one's cheap on eBay at this point in time. But I've always really liked those Wookiees. I think I have a few of them somewhere. And even, as I showed you, have the minifigure from it, the green original 332nd, or 442nd, I did it again, Siege Battalion Clone Trooper. Long story short, it had its place for me, but no, ultimately I really don't just want like a Wookiee battle pack. That would be kind of a throwaway for me. I wouldn't have much use for it. Maybe for Kashyyyk building that would be nice, but come on, how many people are really making a Kashyyyk mock right now? I get some people need it, but there are better ways of receiving Wookiees than just having a set dedicated to them. So although I like the idea, and that's something they've done before, I'm not too personally interested in that myself. Intergalactic Bricks asks, do I like the new or old clone designs better? He says personally he likes the older Clone Trooper designs the best. If you know me, honestly I would say the older ones. I feel like it's nice to have my clone army here because I refer to it so much, but I have a special place in my heart for these two Clone Troopers right here. The original Phase 1 and the original Phase 2. I just have tons of these things in my clone army just because it's always been the ones that I've desired most. So honestly, I think the new ones are better. Obviously, I think the printing is just better. The molds are just better. But personally, for nostalgia reasons, I like the old ones the best, but that's just my personal opinion. That's what I grew up with. And I hope I pronounce your name right here. I said I spoke a little bit of Spanish, but I'm not good with names yet. So Guillermo Abrego asks, what idea of the 2021 possible Clone Wars wave would you like to see? I'm going to leave it at that. Clone Wars. Anything Clone Wars I will like at this point. Anything that is clone related or has a clone trooper in the set or separatist thing in the set, vehicle, whatever it may be, I would be interested in. Whether that be even like a Maul Ahsoka duel, whether that be like an ATTE, of course the Gunship I'm excited for, an MTT I mentioned, an ARC 170, anything like that. I would just love anything Clone Wars at this point. I just want more of. It's been a long time since we've had a lot of those sets re-released, so I honestly would not mind to see anything. If I had to pick a favorite set I would want to see, I'd choose an ATTE. And then if I had to choose a second favorite that I just really want to see, I'd say an ARC 170 or a Z95 remake. And our last question for this week comes from Clone Sergeant, who asks, are you going to make a mock by using the sets from the summer 2020 wave? Now personally, I don't normally make mocks built around the set, but I can assure you that yes, I will have a mock with the sets in them, probably just the AAT and the Clone 501st Legion Battle Pack, because I'm not going to be making a mock that has sequel sets in it, and I'm probably not going to be making a mock that's big enough for like the AT-AT in it, so probably just the Clone Wars sets at this point would find their way into a mock, but I only use those to aid the mock. I don't build the mock around them, so it's not just going to be a mock full of all the summer 2020 sets. It's going to be like a clone or, you know, even a separatist base that's just going to happen to have those sets in them. I'm not one to build my own custom vehicles for mocks, but I do appreciate seeing people do that I'm just not there yet, so I just kind of include whatever sets I have from Lego personally. Now I think that's all the questions that we had for this week, all the time we had to get to them, so I appreciate everyone who asked. Again, if you want your question to be answered next week, go ahead and leave it down below, and there's a high chance I will get to it at some point if I don't get too many questions, so be sure to leave them early, get to the video early, and leave your questions as the weeks go on, and I will do my best to answer as many as possible. So I'd like to thank you all for viewing. Again, if you have not already, go ahead and like and subscribe for more content like this, and as always guys, have a great day.